Hi guys, it's me, Ryan, PPC Cave. I'm back from my vacation. Gene has been doing an excellent job these past couple of weeks, keeping the channel alive with content, regularly updating you guys on where I am and what's been going on. I just took a week off on vacation on holiday in Spain, had a really good time. And I'm back. So thank you, Gene, for picking up the slack. And I thought I would do Gene a favor, give him a week off, and let me kind of take the reins for a change. And in this episode, I wanted to talk about the new Google Ads layout for 2024. This is something that has been announced over a year ago. Google came out, I believe, in June or July of 2023 and said that they're going to be releasing, or at least testing, different designs of the Google Ads interface. Personally, I'll say it straight off the bat, I'm not a huge fan. I prefer the original design. And for those who don't know, I will show you in a second, actually. But yeah, pretty much this is the way it's going to go. Google have recently announced that they're going to sunset, they're going to discontinue the old layout, the old interface of Google Ads that we've come to love so much over the years. They're going to get rid of that, and in replace, they're going to have this new look layout, basically. So this episode is basically showing you how to navigate the new Google Ads layout interface for 2024. So let me get straight into it and move myself out the way. So let's start off by reading this here, and we can see here June 13th, 2023. We have a winner announcing the results of our test of the new ads design. So this was announced maybe even back of March 2023. Google said they're going to be testing different designs, two designs that reorganize pages into more thematically linked groups, enable you to do everything you do in ads today just more quickly and easily. I'll give you my review after we've kind of gone through this article. We'll look at one from Search Engine Roundtable as well. But yeah, basically, this is the new platform that Google have been testing for over a year. Just get rid of this over here as well. And yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys like it? I mean, most people I've spoken to have said they're not a big fan. In all honesty, they prefer the old thing. This always comes around. I'm getting to that age now where I remember Facebook before it was Facebook today. I remember the old, Facebook like design, and everybody would always come out and say the same thing. Why are they changing? They don't need to change, things like that. I remember the old YouTube. This is how old I am. I remember the old YouTube interface as well. So, you might think what you have at the moment is YouTube, but I remember the old style YouTube. So yeah, but three notes here. I mean, this is quite interesting what we're learning from your feedback. Change takes time. You don't have time to get used to the new design. Yeah, exactly. So you'll have the option to switch between until 2024. So at the moment, every time I've gone into one of these Google Ads accounts, I've always gone to the appearance, use previous design for this session, and I'll show you in a minute how to do that until August, really. So yeah, I've not really been enjoying it too much. So I've always used the old design. Some workflows need work. We've also heard loud and clear how important the search terms report is to your keyword management. Absolutely. So we're looking closely at how to better connect that workflow across pages. The menu takes up space, and to be honest, I still think the menu still takes up space. I don't think they've done that much in the new Google Ads interface to really say that to say that it doesn't really take up much space. I think it still takes up a lot of space. So what's next? This is the main bit here. I mean, this was written all the way back in, I think, June 2023. Stay tuned for future notifications within ads as we continue rolling out the winning design. We'll be updating help center documentation, creating additional resources, and then just give you a quick reference map and things like that. Excuse me. You can obviously leave feedback. You can leave feedback in there. But the reason why I wanted to record this now is because I was on Search Engine Roundtable the other day, and I noticed that Barry Schwartz came out with this. which is sad. It's really sad. Again, I'm getting that old where I've started to notice over recent times Google have been making a lot more changes to Google Ads. It came with discontinuing expanded text ads, and then it was changing, I think, broad match modified, getting rid of that, changing what match types mean to us. So looking at phrase match and how they can incorporate broad match modified into phrase match and things like that, and changing extensions to assets, just new name changes and things like that. And now we have a new design. So in recent times, there's been, probably over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of changes up front with Google Ads. So hopefully this will be the sign of things are going to calm down a little bit now, and they'll just kind of take the foot off the gas, or the pedal, if you will, and just kind of calm down making all these changes, because it works. I'm a big believer in, if it isn't broke, don't fix it, right? So, and to me, Google Ads was working fine, but I get it. There has to be an evolution. We can't just use the same thing over and over again. You have to kind of push forward and try new things. And we talk about that smart shopping going into Performance Max, and there's just been so many changes recently that it needs to kind of calm down a little bit. But I can understand at the same time, we can't just stay where we are, because you never really grow. You kind of static, so it's important to keep growing, keep evolving. So Barry Schwartz came out with this last week, and yeah, pretty much what we just read in the Google documentation. Let me close that down. Actually, I don't think we need that anymore. Starting on August 30th, 2024, the new Google Ads design will roll out to all markets, and the old Google Ads design will sunset, Google wrote. That means that only the new Google Ads design will be available on desktop. Please note that we'll continue to fully support existing features and tools. Of course, not all advertisers are happy about this change. A lot find the old design much more intuitive and easier to use. But ready or not, the old design is being replaced by the new design. And then there's just a bit of back and forth. Whoops. Bit of back and forth between some people on X.com, Twitter. See, this is the thing. So many things have changed, right? Like, they keep changing, like, oh, we'll change Twitter to X.com. We'll change Facebook to Meta. We'll change broad match modified, smart shopping, changing the new design layout and things like that. It's just, there's a lot of change. Maybe I'm just getting old and grumpy. I don't know. So yeah, there is that. Maybe I'm just getting old and grumpy. Who knows? But yeah, I think the market consensus is that people don't want change. People want the old Google Ads design, and it's worked fine for them for so many years. So why change? But Ginny Marvin of Google Ads mentioned that we announced the winning design last June, let people know they'd be able to switch back to the previous design until 2024. I know getting up to speed with the new interface takes some time, and then she kind of links off to I think using the search bar here, saying that if you need to find a page, that's the best way to do it. And I actually agree with that. I use the search bar a lot, quickly access reports or devices or whatever you want to look at. Ad schedule, for example, that can be a really good way to quickly get to where you want to be. So yeah, there is that. Keep clicking on that. I don't mean to. So yeah, and this is how it looks, and I'll get into the nitty gritty in a minute. So yeah, this is probably the main bit here as well. The extra level of alt categorization makes this new design more effective for both new and experienced advertisers. As you become more accustomed to the new design, the search bar at the top is a helpful tool to quickly find what you're looking for. Yeah, so that's kind of what Barry Schwartz reported on last week, based on what Ginny Marvin said as well over at Google. And this is the new design. So what do you guys think? Are you a fan? Do you dislike it? Like, what do you like about it? Like, personally, for me, if I'm trying to take something away from it that I like, I think I was getting a little bit bored with seeing the old kind of gray design. So having it a little bit more lighter, a little bit more come to life, it's nice. I like how it kind of blends in and things like that. Um, that's pretty much about it. I think everything else, I'm not keen on these funky little icons on the left. I think they look a little bit silly. I know we had them at the top before and things like that, but they were kind of tucked away, or maybe because you use something for so long, you just kind of get used to it. You don't really acknowledge it anymore. That's maybe how I was with the old design, but it just seems a bit too much like GA4 to me. With the whole icons on the left, it's very similar, and I guess it kind of makes sense to kind of keep a certain theme and a brand intact. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit too much like GA4 for me. Google Analytics 4. I'd rather have Google Ads and GA4 and know where I am at all times. So yeah, but this is the new design. If you want to take a look. I mean, I'll give you a bit of a hands-on kind of approach in a second, but if we just compare it to the old design, and this is how, if you still want to use the old design up until August 2024, this is how you go back to it. So you want to come up to the top on desktop, go to appearance, and then use previous design for this session. Click on that. And typically what I've been doing is I don't like the new look or feel, and I'll select that and send and go to previous design. And then here we have it, the old design. So if I just hide this because we don't need to look at that at the moment, we can click that off. And I'm going to change this view because I don't like having it there. If you want to kind of do that, you can find it there. But again, I still prefer this. If I just go back to the overview screen, I still prefer this a little bit. It looks more professional to me. It looks like a professional piece of kit. The other one seems a bit goofy, seems a bit funky, seems a bit childish almost, whereas this seems like professional. Like, if you know how to navigate Google Ads, you know what you're doing, whereas the other one maybe a little bit more easy of access, which by the sounds of things, that's what Google wants. They want more people to interact and use Google Ads. I don't think much is going to change, in all honesty. I think people who own businesses, they're too concerned about staffing, about product sourcing, about like thinking about promotions and discounts and different seasonality trends of like Valentine's Day, Black Friday, Christmas, all these different things. I think they're more concerned about that rather than actually, okay, we need to go in and create a campaign. I think the general consensus is going to be, if business owners want to run Google Ads, why would they take time out of their busy schedule to learn it? Instead, they could just hire a freelancer, hire an agency to come in and take that big Google Ads problem and send it off, rather than having to take time out of their schedule to learn it themselves. They may even hire someone in-house, but oftentimes when you hire someone in-house, especially here in the UK, you obviously have to pay them a wage. And a lot of the times it might be a cheaper alternative to just get a freelancer to come in where you don't have to pay them a wage, so to speak, a minimum wage. You can pay them whatever the freelancer is charging. Same with the agency, really. So my thing is that I get what Google are trying to do. I think they're trying to make Google Ads a lot more easier to understand, to kind of more accessible to more people. But at the same time, I think business owners are still not going to want to use it. I think they're still going. This basically what I'm trying to say is that I think there's still a place for an account manager, for freelancers, for agencies, to make their stamp with Google Ads. I don't think business owners are going to do it themselves. So I can kind of see, if it's a small business, maybe, if it's a small business and they just want to get their ads out the door, like a bakery business, a one-man band type of thing, then they don't have the refunds, not the refunds, they don't have the funds or the resources to be able to pull in a freelancer or an agency, then maybe that in that way it could work. But for the most part, yeah, I prefer the old one, really. And this is still eligible for you to use until August 2024, August 30th, 2024. So we've still got a couple of months yet. My advice to you, I'd just start using the new one now. Get to grips with it, start getting into it, because you're going to get a head start compared to everyone else. And by the time that this is discontinued, this old version, you'll already be switched onto the new version. You won't have to worry about that. You'll understand how to use it. There won't be a week where you have to take out and kind of have a bit of a learning curve, really, on how to use the new interface and how to navigate from screen to screen and things like that. So I would really strongly recommend, if you're a Google Ads account manager watching this, if you're a freelancer, if you're an agency, whoever it is, I would say start using the new appearance, the new design now. Start learning it now, so that you've still got the old one to fall back into. If you still can't find something, it's still there. But for the most part, I'd say do 80-20. 80% of the work on the new design, 20% on the old design if you can't find something. That's kind of how I've been using it. For example, the other day, I wanted to report on call details just to show a client, these are the phone calls that have come through. This is the duration of these phone calls, things like that. I couldn't find it in the new design. But I went back to the old design. I found it straight away, so I was able to report on that. So yeah, old design going away August 30th, 2024. Let us know in the comments below what you think about that. If you're a fan, if you're not a fan, yeah, if you're going to miss it as well. So use new design. That's what I would say. And here we are back in the new design. So as you know, when you come into Google Ads, you're always on the desktop. You're always going to be on the overview screen. That's just kind of like the home page, if you will, once you're logged in into Google Ads. So not much. I mean, you might see this here as well, and this kind of goes through. You just might want to spend 5 or 10 minutes just kind of getting to grips and finding your finding your bases a little bit and say, right, okay, recommendations are now here. Insights and reports are there. I've got my search terms there. Reports, things like that. Auction insights, campaigns. For me, the homepage for me is this one. And I always do this. I use the hamburger menu at the top there because I don't want to see this. It just cleans it up a little bit. And there we go. So this is the homepage for me. I'm spending 90% of my time pretty much here evaluating campaigns from a top level perspective. Looking at all the different data, all the different metrics here of impressions, clicks, average CPC, click-through rate, all this stuff. And what's nice is that none of this, if you've got your columns set up, kind of like how I like to set them up, if you've got your columns set up in a specific way, Google's not going to change that. It's going to stay the same as the old design, so you don't have to worry about going in and rearranging all your columns or anything like that. It's going to be the same. So yeah, campaigns, that's where you want to be, and then you can just do the normal stuff. Click through on your campaign, look at your ad groups and things like that. I have found myself to be using these a lot more. I was trying to find where I could just change the view, because if you just go back here just for a second, you can see that if I do this, I need to move myself out of the way, change view. See, what you can do here is you can change this view. So I've always changed that view and took that away. So it just kind of cleans it up. But what I've actually found is that in the new one, I don't think we have that ability to change the view. I can't see it. I couldn't see it the other day. I might be wrong. It might be there somewhere hidden in the settings. But I've actually started to use these a lot more, I can't talk. Specifically when I'm deep inside the campaign, if I'm looking at keywords, if I'm looking at an ad schedule and I want to come back to the all campaigns look, I'll just click on that and it'll take me back home. So I've actually started to use these a lot more than what I thought I would. So yeah, we don't have the original top menu bar anymore. Just darting between two. And that's the thing, is that you have to kind of, if you do want to keep using it and send the same thing, I always say that one, they keep moving them around, so you have to be careful of that. But look, this is where it was before. It was all kind of nicely tucked away in tools and settings, billing, setup, measurement, like conversions and things like that. We don't have that anymore. That's gone. It's kind of all here. So you can see campaigns, goals, so the conversions have moved there, tools, so you got that there. Billing is separate, admin. So you've got all that now on the left-hand side rather than being tucked away in tools and settings at the top. So yeah, Conversions, you just want to come down to goals, take a look at conversions, summary, and then you've got all your conversions in there. Again, this was an old Google Ads account that I was using for an e-commerce business that I discontinued. So this is now just a demo account for the PPC Cave. So this is where you go in and create your new conversion actions and things like that. Really, really straightforward. Nothing has really changed when it comes to creating conversions and goals and things like that. Pretty much everything has just stayed the same. It's more of a stylistic sort of like interface change more so than anything else. So you've got your conversion actions there as well. You've got your data-driven attribution models and things like that all there, which is cool. Tools and settings. So you've got your keyword planner, performance planner, which I never use. I never really use Reach Planner either. Your shared library. So we're looking at audience managers, your lists, asset libraries, and things like that. Put this up here. Troubleshooting, so policy manager, ad preview, and diagnosis. Sorry. So you've got those there as well. Scripts, uploads, rules, if you use them, budgets, your shared budgets, bidding strategies, things like that is all there now. Yeah, it's pretty much the whole tools and settings is now on the left, if you can kind of visualize that. Your billing, pretty much self-explanatory, and your admin stuff. So if you want to add people, access and security, you've got your account settings, your preferences, notifications, all that stuff. But again, for the main thing for me, it's going to be campaigns. I'm going to spend 90% of my time here, as I did in the old interface. I spent like 90% of my time, pretty much there on the campaign overview, looking at the data and the statistics. What Ginny Marvin is saying at Google, what Barry Schwartz was saying in Search Engine Roundtable, is using the search bar. So, for example, if you can't find something like devices, you can just quickly do that, type in devices, go straight to it, which is really handy. And it was the same in the old one as well. In fact, let me show you. Nothing's really changed from that aspect. The search bar is still there. It was still really good. Devices, for example, and it just pops it straight up. I guess with the new one, I think I'm on there anyway. So we could say add schedule. There we go. And then you can go to there, reports. I like to use a lot of reports. Go there as well. And then you've got your report screen once it loads up. There we go. So coming back to the new design, it's the same thing. But what I kind of like a little bit now is that it gives you a little bit more of a, what do you call it? A URL slug? I forget. It's the, what do you call it? I forget. The URL structure, I guess. It tells you where you need to go if you want to find it yourself. So I guess that's kind of a bit more educational. If you didn't know where devices were, Google's doing a bit of a better job of saying, right, it's under campaigns, you go to insights and reports, when and where your ad showed. So looking at that, you'd say, okay, so what I need to do, you need to come on the left-hand side, insights and reports, when and where ad showed. I'll click on that. And then you can see here as one of the tabs, devices. So that's how you'd want to get to it manually. So I think that's a really nice kind of little neat tool that Google, or neat feature that Google have introduced, that if you don't know where something is, it gives you that URL structure to be able to go and find where it is. So there you go, add schedule, for example. But again, you could do campaigns and go to campaigns on the left if you want to, or click all campaigns and go back to the home screen. That way it's not going to work for me now, is it? I knew it wouldn't. That's really frustrating. See, I'm still getting used to it, search campaigns, maybe all campaigns. No. So frustrating. So it looks like I'm going to have to do that. But then I'm back to square one. So yeah, not much has really changed here. Again, it's just a interface change, a different style. I must admit, as I'm using it more and more, I'm actually getting to grips with it. I'm operating quicker. When I first did it, when I was auditing client accounts and things like that, you couldn't have got me onto the old design soon enough. I was just straight in, right, use previous design. I don't like the look or feel, send and go to the previous. And I was doing 99% of my work here, pretty much 100% of the work in the old design. But now that I've started to use the new design, I'm kind of getting used to it. It's not that bad. I kind of like the fresh lick of paint, the fact that it's a little bit whiter and a bit, but it's the goofy little icons on the left. I really just can't get over. It just looks too silly to me. And I know we had them kind of in the previous design, but again, they were tucked away at the top and things like that. All the little icons and things like that. You just had what it was. It's like, and I'm a big fan of that. Like, tell me what it is. I don't need to see any goofy little icons or designs or anything like that. I just need to get to ads and assets. For example, I need to get to my campaigns. I need to wherever I need to go. I've got it on the left hand side. So now just having to navigate with these goofy little icons is a bit silly, but I guess it's not too bad. Over time, I'll get used to it. And I have, I've been using this now for about a week. And like I said, I'm getting more and more used to it. So yeah, it's just as the days go on, as the weeks pass, I'm sure we'll be, operating really, really quickly, using it like we use the original design. Well, the old design rather, not the original design. And actually, if we look at that, it's quite similar to the original design. I think the original design. Let me pause this real quick and let me show you what the original design was that I remember. So I'm hoping you can see this, because this is the design that I remember. And I'm sure there was a design before this. In fact, when I was looking on Google Images, I saw some other designs that I think were even before this. But when I got into Google Ads, I remember it looking like Google AdWords, and looking at this screen and thinking, oh my God, it looks like trying to navigate a spaceship. It's just so confusing. There's so much data. And just looking at this, to me, it brings all those kind of feelings and memories back a little bit, because it was so difficult to navigate, and there was almost too much data to look at, and it wasn't displayed in a very easy to consume way. And I think where we're heading now is that with the last version, so with the old interface that Google's going to replace in August 30th, 2024, the last one was a little bit more user friendly, a little bit more easier to navigate and things like that. The UI experience was much better. That was the one that I really honed my craft, so to speak, on. That was the one that I saw that screen day in, day out, knew exactly where I needed to be, and really just got to grips and got a lot better with Google Ads. This is when looking at this one right here, this is when I first got into Google AdWords and things like that. And most of the time I was just thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't spend, I hope I don't waste. I don't know what I was thinking. It was something like, I hope I don't spend everybody's money and just, get no results or something like that, or, overspend and charge people or whatever it was. So yeah, it was very difficult to navigate this original one. So fast forward to where we are now. I think this new one, it's easier on the eye. It's easier to kind of consume the information. And this is the thing, is that, as much as we're Google Ads account managers, we're also data analysts. On a daily basis, we're looking at data. We're looking at impressions, clicks, average CPC, click-through rates, conversion rates, search impression share, all these different statistics, so we kind of need it to be easy on the eye. The UI, the user experience has to be kind of seamless, flawless, just easy to kind of understand and navigate. So I think, the last one for me is always going to be my favorite, this one here, because I've got a lot of fond memories with it. Like I said, this is where I really learn how to excuse me, hone my craft. This is the one for me. This is where I got a lot better at Google Ads. I've spent probably most of my Google Ads career, if you like, inside this interface, into this screen. So it's going to be sad to see it go. But the new one is not so bad, in all honesty, and I think we'll all get used to it as time goes by. So yeah, nobody likes change. I don't like change. If it isn't broke, why fix it? But it could have been a lot worse, and I actually don't mind it too much. As I say, for me, it does look a little bit like GA4. I'm not that keen on that aspect with the whole icons and things like that. But in other areas, such as the view filters and things like that, I use them a lot more than I thought I would. And the search bar is always going to be a good a good place to go if you can't find anything. So I'm going to wrap that up. Hopefully this has been a bit more demonstrational, a bit more easier to understand, and hopefully you'll start to use it. I definitely think if you're scared to use it, just throw yourself into the deep end, watch this video, start using it, just start learning, maybe spend half a day, just kind of getting to grips with the new Google Ads interface. It's not that bad, and I think the more you use it, the more you'll start to like it, actually. And then 6 months down the line, just as we were with Broad Match, just as we were with Performance Max, just as we were with everything else, we'll get used to it. We're very smart at the end of the day, very intuitive as Google Ads account managers, so we know what we're doing. It's the same data, it's just presented in a different way. So gonna leave it there. If you've got any questions for us, Gene or myself at the PPC Cave, it's the ppccave@gmail.com. You can find me, Ryan Fenton, ppc.co.uk. We're everywhere. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts as well. I try and keep up on those as much as I can. So make sure you're following us across all channels for the latest tips, tricks, and industry news when it comes to Google Ads. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys.